Good day to you. This is teacher Leland Alejandro, and we are going to do distances today and midpoints. We're going to use a number line, and we shall learn how to determine the distance between 2 points and also the midpoint between two given points. Now, let's have our examples. So let's begin with the Desmos file. We shall be able to check on the Desmos file here. All right, let me just get the screen. And that should be over here. All right. Now we have here a number line, as you can see on your screens. All right. These are labeled with letters, okay? And for each letter, there's corresponding number. Now let's start with the distances. Let's consider 2 points. Let's say A and K. We shall use A and K. Now, for A, you have a -8 assigned number. And for K, you have the number 2 assigned number. Now, we shall use the whiteboard for our computation. All right, so we shall start from the given, and we are doing actually distance, okay? Distance. Okay, so our given numbers, all right, we have A, and that is -8. And for the other point K, there's an assigned number also, which is the number 2. Now, the formula to get the distance, you just have to get their difference and its absolute value. So if we denote the distance as small d, we shall compute the absolute value of their difference. So we shall start with A minus K, and A is -8, and then minus the K, which is 2, and then determine the absolute value of this. Now we have absolute of the sum of -8 and -2 is -10, and the absolute of -10 is a positive 10. So the distance between -8 and 2 is a positive 10. Distance is always positive. Now, we did something like A minus K. How about K minus 8? Is that possible? That's possible, yes. Of course, we can do another solution here. So the other way of doing that is absolute value. And this time we will be doing K minus A, okay? So that means 2 minus the -8. Remember, we're going to have the difference and then take its absolute value. And this will just become absolute of 2. When you see a minus negative, that become a positive. And that is 8 there. And you see that's absolute of 10, which is also 10 there. So the distance between point A and point K is 10, and we can verify that going back to our screen. All right, here. All right, we shall locate the point A, all right, and then going to point K there. And you can count, okay? So from A to K, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 there. And K. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 there. So the distance between these 2 points is 10. Let's have another example. Let's try another example. Let's choose another 2 points. Say point B and point F. Okay, let's choose point B. Okay, let's choose this. Let's select from here B. Let's put an annotation line there. Point B to F. There, going to F. What is the distance between B and F? Although you can compute, also you can count. But what if the 2 points are very, very far from each other that you cannot actually count anymore? You have to do your you have to learn your computation, of course. All right, so I'm just showing this simple, although you can count and know which distance. This is to prepare you if the 2 points are very, very far from each other. Okay, all right. Let's say we do the computation on the other side. All right, so we shall use the whiteboard, and we shall erase the first. Okay, we're still doing distance here. Okay, we're still doing distance. Okay, now we selected B, and that's supposed to be -7. And then our point F, that is actually -3 there. Okay, what's the distance between point B and F? What's the distance between point B and F? So let's denote the distance D like this, and then we're supposed to get the difference, so absolute value of the difference. So we shall do B minus F, that's -7 minus -3 there. And this will be absolute value of -7, and then minus minus, that becomes plus, and that becomes +3. And you see this will become absolute of -7 plus 3. So this will be absolute value of -4 there, which is only +4 there. You can also try it the other way. Okay, distance is equal to absolute value of, this time we use F minus B. Okay, remember you can use either direction. Okay, so F minus B, so we'll start with -3, okay, minus the -7. Remember, we're getting the difference, so we're doing subtraction. So this is equal to absolute value of -3, and then you have that minus minus 7, that becomes +7, and this is equal to absolute of 4, and this is equal to a +4 also. And you see the answer is a +4, and we can go back to our working screen, our rectangular coordinate system. Okay, let us now see the distance, and the distance between B and F there. So you can count, that looks like 4 units, and we are correct. Okay, now we're going to do now midpoints. Okay, I hope you learn how to determine the length or distance between 2 points. Now we shall learn how to determine midpoints. All right, let us choose 2 points. I have selected point D. Okay, let's choose point D, and the other point is point Q. Okay, it's at the other side there. Let's determine the midpoint. Okay, the midpoint, the point that divides the segment DQ to 2 equal segments. All right, for D we have a -5, and for our Q you have a +7. You can see it on screen. Let us determine the midpoint using the whiteboard. There. Okay, let's clear the previous problem, and we shall now begin how to determine the midpoint. Okay, we're talking about the 2 points we selected. That's point D, and that is -5, and the other point Q, and that has the number 7. Okay, we shall determine the formula for midpoint. Okay, let's denote midpoint. Okay, midpoint is equal to the sum of the 2 numbers, and then you have to divide by 2. It's like average, okay? So we shall make use of the letters, okay, as formula. So D plus Q, and then the sum you divide by 2. There. So we have midpoint, that's equal to, all right, this is -5, and then we add a Q, that is 7, and then we shall divide this by 2. And we have -5 plus a +7, that's a +2. That's a +2. So we shall obtain there 2, and then we will divide this by 2. That surely is just +1. And we have the answer 1, and we shall remember that Now we shall locate the number 1, okay, using the other screen. Okay, so we shall see the other screen, and let's locate number 1. Okay, number 1 seems to be like point J, okay? There, that's point J. And we use actually the 2 points D, and the other is Q, there. Now, how are you going to check the midpoint? Now, the midpoint divides the segment to 2 equal segments. So we shall try to measure both sides and find out if they are equal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 on one side. Let's see if we have a 6 to the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So that means the point J is the midpoint, and it's correct. Let us have one more. Okay, let's choose the point C. All right, point C and point K. And let's begin there. So we're going to choose C with the number -6 and K with the number +2. All right, let's do this in the whiteboard. All right, let's do that. Okay, here's the whiteboard, and we shall clear. And we're still doing the midpoint, okay? And we have the point C, all right? And that is equal to the number -6, and we have K, and that is equal to +2 there. Now, we're getting the midpoint, so the formula is to get the average, okay, of the two numbers. That will be the midpoint. So for the formula, we have C added to K. Remember, we're getting the average. After getting the sum, we divide by 2. And then we shall have the midpoint that is equal to point C carries the -6. Then we will add the K, which is +2. And then the result will be divided by 2. So this will just be -4 divided by 2, which gives us exactly -2. Okay. So the -2 is our answer. We shall locate the letter for the -2, and that's our midpoint. We shall see the other screen. There. And we use the C. Let's annotate that, put some arrow. All right, we use C, and we use the K. All right. And then our answer is -2. The location of -2 is right here. There. And the answer is -2. And you can see the right side has 4 units. Okay, this is 4 units. Also, this is 4 units in the other side. That means the correct answer is G. That is our midpoint. And so I hope you learned from our 4 examples, and you can try using the desmos.com for your own exercises and practices. And this will be all for now. I hope you learned something. Goodbye.